Hey y'all. I am Saria and welcome to my YouTube channel. Now, what I'm going to do today is I'm going to read a story that ChatGPT created to help us visualize what the world would look like after Project 2025 has been fully implemented. And why I was curious about that is because I didn't quite no, in your mind, you think that um, maybe at the end of Project 2025 is a white Wakanda, it's Switzerland, it's this place where it's a white Dubai, it's a place where people are thriving, and they just didn't want any people of color there, right? They didn't want black folks, they didn't want people of color. So I kind of was like, okay, I can understand that. Um, it's unfortunate, but I can understand that. But I don't think that's it at all. And the reason why is because I did a little search on here to see um, what America would look like as a result of Project 2025. So I did this little deep dive in YouTube, and one of the videos from Democracy Now! Showed the one of the architects, and you guys, this mediocre, angry man was talking about how they want to traumatize people so much that they don't show up to work. He said traumatize. You guys, that word is, it makes me so full of rage. And the reason why is because as a person growing up in America and who's Black, who's dealing with all the realities of being Black, there's nothing but fucking trauma. And for this man to sit up there with his whole chest and say that the goal of Project 2025 is to traumatize people, it shows me that he has no trauma in his life, which is unfortunate because it's only fair that he too should feel some trauma, right? It's only fair. Um, but he hasn't. He's a privileged, rich, middle class, angry as all get out man, and his only goal in his life is to create trauma. His mom and dad did an amazing job. We should be so lucky to have more people like him. All right, so let me read the story. Uh, this is not my story. This is ChatGPT based on my prompts. So, The Long Shadow, A Day in America, 2029, 6 a.m. Waking up in a different America. Malik Carter wakes up to the sound of his neighbor's car starting. He used to hear kids laughing outside before school, but ever since public education changed under the Patriotic Curriculum Act, fewer parents trust the system. Some send their kids to government-approved charter schools, others homeschool if they can afford it. Malik sighs, stretches, and grabs his phone. The usual news apps are gone. After the Truth and Media Act passed, platforms that challenged the government's versions of events were either shut down or labeled foreign influenced. The only news available now reads like a campaign ad. America thrives under new traditional values. He doesn't bother checking social media. Twitter collapsed after new regulations made it impossible for certain voices to be heard. Black activists, journalists, and organizers were flagged as subversive influences. Some accounts disappeared overnight. Some people disappeared too. 7:30, the morning commute. Malik throws on his work outfit, blue overalls with the American Prosperity Workforce logo stitched on the chest. It's part of a new government initiative that replaced affirmative action with merit-based labor programs. The promises were equality through effort, but the reality, Black workers, especially men, were disproportionately shuffled into manual labor sectors. As he walks to the bus stop, he sees a group of young white men in community guardian uniforms patrolling the street. Officially, they're neighborhood watch volunteers. Unofficially, They're the new enforcers, deputized under the Civic Protection Act. Malik keeps his head down. He learned that eye contact can be mistaken for defiance. The bus arrives. No one talks anymore. Conversations in public places can be overheard and reported. The American Integrity Initiative encourages people to report anti-patriotic behavior. Malik has heard stories, coworkers suddenly fired, neighbors evicted, their crime unclear, but their absence permanent. 9 a.m. work. Malik clocks in at the warehouse. The break room TV blares America First Network, the only allowed broadcast in workplaces. The host praises the corporate patriotism pledge, which gives tax breaks to businesses that follow government mandated hiring practices. Malik knows what that means. The company's Black employees used to have a pathway to management, not anymore. His co-worker, Andre, pulls him aside. You hear about Trey? Malik shakes his head. They got him, Andre whispers. Said he was spreading racial division. Trey used to organize meetings about workers' rights, talked about fair wages, better treatment. Now he's gone. Malik clenches his jaw and gets back to work. 12:30 lunch break. Outside, Malik watches the skyline. Billboards advertise traditional America stronger together. The images are always the same, smiling white families, the occasional Black or Latino face carefully placed for diversity optics. The city feels different now. Churches that align with government approved messages thrive. Others struggle or close, their leaders accused of promoting disunity. His phone vibrates, a message from his cousin Jasmine. They raided the bookstore last night, shut it down. Malik's stomach sinks. Jasmine worked at one of the last Black-owned bookstores in the city. It specialized in African American literature, history, and banned books. The Cultural Protection Order banned books that distort American values. That included anything discussing systemic racism, mass incarceration, or even certain civil rights leaders deemed too radical. Malik quickly deletes the message. Being associated with radicals can cost you everything. 5:30 heading home. As he walks back to his apartment, he noticed a new sign outside City Hall. Voting Rights Modernization Act, ensuring election integrity. He already knows what it means. New voter ID laws, closed polling places in majority Black neighborhoods, and restrictions on mail-in ballots. Malik used to volunteer during elections. Now voting feels like a formality. At a red light, he watches a police cruiser stop a Black teenager. The boy keeps his hands visible, answering questions carefully. A few years ago, there might have been witnesses filming, but new laws have made it illegal to record interactions that interfere with law enforcement. Malik crosses the street before he can see how it ends. 9 p.m., another night in New America. Back home, Malik locks his door. He used to feel safe in the city. Now everything feels monitored. His younger brother, Jalen, messages him, thinking about Canada. Malik exhales. More and more Black professionals, artists, activists have left. Some disappeared into quiet exiles. Others never made it past the airport. Be careful, he types back. Then, after a pause, he deletes the message. Outside, the street is silent. A flag waves under the street lights. Bright, proud, unquestioned. Malik turns off the lights and tries to sleep. Tomorrow will be another day in the new America. Mm. So nobody actually wants to make America great. They just want to make it oppressive for everyone. So my question is, why is that a win? In what world would that be a win? Because I heard something a while back and I never forgot it. They said in slavery, there's two slaves. There's the slave and the person who has to watch the slave. If they're trying to create another form of slavery, which obviously it sounds like they are, there's two slaves. And if you're thinking, then this is an opportunity where uh, Black folks should leave and all that good stuff. Just remember, during the Great Migration of the South, Black folks were not permitted to leave the South. Their train tickets were torn. They were not allowed to leave. So even though people say they don't want you here, the reality is they need us here for themselves to feel inferior, superior. But because of our qualifications, now they realize they're inferior. And so they're changing the rules and the goalposts. All right. So this was not a joyscape. This was just to get us all grounded into where we are. And that's all. Goodbye, y'all.